Hey, Butch, this is Leon, man. I just decided I couldn't get up there right now to check you out. I decided to make a video to send up there to you. And I'm going to add a tour of Livingston to this video. I went down through Livingston not too long ago when I was headed to one of the Alabama Day situations. And I did a little tour through the town. So I'm going to add that on to this video. I want to make you homesick about where we used to do our thing, man. And it's going to have some good old church music behind it, good old gospel. And I'm doing this so I can raise your spirit a little bit. Man, don't be hesitant to realize that you've had a good life. Long time, longevity, man. God has been very good to you. He enabled you to do your thing as a man on this earth. You've been productive and effective and efficient. You've raised a good family. You found that good wife that God say you need in order to be a good man. And I think all of that is just absolutely great. And I want you to always be thankful, whether you are sick or whether you are well. Be thankful for the longevity that God has given you, because that's exactly what I'm doing. You know, we had a good family. Emma Jean and Jack produced us. And I don't know whether you remember Docena, Alabama, and we was coming up as little babies. And I used to get in trouble all the time because you would always be crying when we'd be playing outside, and Daddy would always blame me for it. He'd swear I had done something to you. And you with your little mean rascal self, you just crying because you wanted to have your way and you wanted all the toys. But anyhow, Mom and Papa, I want you to remember those two people until the day you no longer exist on this earth. Mama Catherine and Papa Will. They took excellent care of us. I don't know whether you remember when they took us out of Docena up around Birmingham and took us down to Livingston. And you know, then they were living on Mr. Lako Lewis's place. Yeah, Papa was sharecropping for him. And they had those old mean cows that used to chase us across the field when we'd be going to school. You and Loretta and Rose would sometime come and stay with us up on his place and go to school with us to Sumter County Training School. And you know, Mr. Lewis's cows would, they had a mean old bull. He used to sit out and just wait for us in the pasture to have to cross that pasture to go over to Highway 11 to go to school. And that rascal, the minute we started out from the house, he was come from the northern part of Lewis's pasture and tried to get us before we could get across that fence, boy. But we used to beat that rascal all the time. When he got close one time, though, because Loretta, you know, we had those steps going up across the fence over at Highway 11, and how Loretta rushed up one day and rushed up those steps and her foot slipped and she fell on the top rail of those steps and injured herself. But you know, those were some days, man, that we will never forget, and those were some good days for us. Because you know what I realized, Butch? Those good old country days helped to enhance our integrity and our character as men. And it helped us, the religion that we picked up from Mama Catherine and Sadie Lee, Auntie Sadie Lee and Papa. Man, that wisdom and all of that good training, all those old whippings Mama used to put on us. You know, Papa wouldn't whip us, but Mama had no problem with laying that leather on us, you know. And all of those good old days, man, help to ingrain our character and our integrity as men, and help to instill limitations on us so that we realized all through our lives that we just didn't have a right to do anything that we wanted to do. And we didn't have a right to say everything that we wanted to say. They instilled some serious limitations in us to help us to understand what our limitations were and how far we could go, how we needed to treat people. They got us involved in that church down there in Livingston. I think it was First Baptist, that got us some sense of obedience to God and obedience to other adult human beings, and even obedience to ourselves, instill enough sense in us, common sense and good sense, whereas we learn how to take care of each other and ourselves. And I think that was very, very good. And then we went to, remember old Sumter County Training School, man? Where we went down there and the teachers got a hold of us, Miss Lanier and Miss Paris and Miss Ford and Miss Means and Miss Annie Jones, Annie Lee Jones. Man, those women did a good job with us. I don't think we actually got the best education that we could get. But I tell you, they taught us enough to make it. And they taught us enough to know right from wrong. They taught us enough to know how to take tests and how to communicate with people and how to get along with people. And that education plus love helped us to be the men that we are today. And I'm telling you, man, I love you and I really appreciate you for being such a strong character man. And none of us have been perfect now. I'm not trying to say that you was perfect or I was perfect, because we all made some serious mistakes, just by being hard-headed in a lot of senses. But we knew our limitations, and that was precious. And Rose and Loretta just left us, but Rose is out in Denver, Colorado, and she's doing good. I was in contact with her a few days ago when Loretta passed, and Rose is doing good. And I remember we used to go down to Livingston sometime to stay with their mama, Annie Lee Jones, and Rose and Loretta would come up to the Lewis's place and hang out with us and stay all night, and then go to school from there and then go back to Livingston. And we thought they were good avenues for escape for us, because we got a chance some weekends to go down to Livingston because they lived down in Livingston. And if Rose and Loretta had not lived in Livingston, we would have been out in the country, man, all the time. Nevertheless, that partnership and that kinship was there between Rose and Loretta and you and me, and we had some good times together, real good times together. And I'm glad now to let you know that Rose is doing good. And Sadie Lee, Sadie Lee Jones Sledge, that woman was something else. You remember when we used to go to Birmingham sometime with her on the weekend to get out of Livingston, and we'd go up there with her and Uncle Joe, and man, we thought that was the outing of the week when we were able to go to Birmingham and stay up in Docena for the weekend, and then come back on Monday for school. And those were some good times. And then you remember old Lake Lewis, had us sharecropping, but Pop and my dear was smart, man. My dear was making a teacher salary, and Papa was farming, and they teamed their little money and pulled it together and bought their 12 acres of land at the southern corner of Lake Lewis's place. Of course, Lake Lewis had gone and he had sold his place to Byron Grant. And old man Grant sold Papa and my dear 12 acres. And man, that's when we were big time. Because Papa and Mr. Samuel Madison, I know you remember Samuel Madison, got together and built us a house. And it was a shotgun house, but it was our house. And that was very precious. And we had that outdoor toilet though for 3 or 4 years after we got the house. And you remember, I bet you don't remember this. We were big time, man. Papa built an outhouse with dual seats on it. And we could go in there at the same time and check each other out. And you remember when you and I went into the dual outhouse spots one day, and we were trying to figure out scientifically if water went straight through us, and we both took us a glass of water in there, and we sat on the little double outhouse toilets, and we drank our water and watched to see if it would go straight through us or not, if it would come on out the other end. Well, we learned scientifically and realistically that no, that water had a lot of things to do inside our bodies before it came out the other end. But I just some of the little experiments we had. And you remember the creek down behind the house when we used to go down and call ourselves going to swim? It wasn't deep enough to swim, but we would pretend that it was anyhow. And we'd catch all those crawdaddies and all that kind of thing. And one thing that really come to mind that was big fun, we used to go picking blackberries. And man, you and I was out there in those blackberry bushes, and we both had some plates that we had our berries on. And we were choosing our little berry bushes, and a big snake popped his head up out of one of those berry bushes, and man, I didn't know you could run so fast. But you were ahead of me, and your plate was shifting off berries, and when we got back a distance from that snake in that bush, we didn't have enough berries to even speak about. We had run from under all of those berries almost. But anyhow, I realized that day that you was a fast little rascal. You could run real fast. And I was right on your tail. Yes, sir. We got that new house down there, and you know, we went on to get ourselves through Sumter County Training School. Teachers did good by us, and of course my dear was there. Sadie Lee was there all the time, you know, teaching. So we didn't have much problems matriculating through that place because my dear had our back. And all of the teachers kind of, you know, let us do our own thing. I remember my dear had an old crazy boy named Triggs in her class one day. And I went into her class. You know, I had gotten out of my class and went over to her room. And old Triggs was a bad dude, man. And he was a mean dude, too. And everybody was scared of him. But, you know, I went in my dear's room and I figured, well, Triggs not going to mess with me. I'm in my dear's room. So I started poking at old Triggs. And Triggs said, look, boy, you better go ahead and leave me alone. And I pointed my finger in his face. And I told him, you can't tell me what to do. And Triggs didn't care nothing about me being in my dear's room. Triggs hit me dead upside my head. and Monday had to come over and referee. Of course, being a teacher, she didn't take sides because she knew that I was instigating probably. And she mediated that situation. And I learned a serious lesson from that. You got to be careful about who you pick on and who you mess with. You can mess with some of the people some of the time, but my man, I learned, Butch, that you can't pick at everybody all the time because some people don't have limitations like we had. Anyhow, I went to the Air Force and left you down in the country and did my little 4 years and went overseas and came back. And we hooked up again because brothers were brothers. And then I loafed around Livingston, for about a year until Mama got on my case, and I was married then. My wife got on my case, and I decided that I had to go to Ohio to get a job. So I went up to Dayton, Ohio, and joined up with Bibber. You remember Bibber, right? Our Uncle Bibber. And Uncle Bibber used to come and visit us occasionally. And boy, we loved him because he would always put some money on us, man. He'd always lay a piece of money in our hand when he would come visit us in Livingston. And we loved that rascal. Now, he had to leave Livingston because he slapped a white man upside the head for messing with him one day. And he had to get out of town fast. And boy, let me tell you, he went all the way out of town. He went all the way to Seattle, Washington, up at the edge of America, and never came back to Livingston again because you know how it was then. You cross a white man verbally, you had a problem. And if you mess around and hit one like he did, well, then they'd be waiting on you for a long time to come. But anyhow, he was a man too, man. Everybody in our family was just strong-willed men. And then you hooked up that mighty fine wife you got, no, you came up to Dayton before then. You came to Dayton and stayed with me for a while. And you was always communicating with that little pretty woman you had back in the country. And her name was Winifred. But, there was a little Lulu in the comic strips at that time. And she was a cute little old dolly-looking woman. And we named her Lulu, too, after the cartoon. And so until this day, man, I'm still calling that fantastic wife you got Lulu. When I'm talking to other people about her, I have to say Winifred. But other than that, it is Lulu, my Lulu. But I tell you what, man, you made a fantastic choice when you picked that woman to be your wife. Because not only has she always been a fantastic woman and stood by you, and sometimes in spite of you, because you was a rascal there every now and then, but she still loved and respected you enough to stand by you. And boy, now she is really on your team. And I tell you, boy, until the day you leave this earth, I hope you keep on loving, trusting, and respecting that wife you have called Lulu, Winifred Frazier. Okay, I want you to count your blessings now, and I'm going to attach the Livingston tour and some gospel music to this video. And I want you to listen carefully to this song because it's precious Lord, lead me on, let me stand. And let's count your blessings, man, the way I see it. And I'm just your brother, but I got a lot of wisdom because I'm 83 now, and you got to be right on my tail. 82 or 81, I can't remember now, I'm getting old. Well, got old now. But anyhow, God gave you life, and he didn't have to do it, but he did. You know, God made you mentally capable of making a good life out of the life that he gave you. Blessing number 2. Yes, yes, yes. Blessing number 3. God allowed you, when you was picking women, to pick the right woman as your soulmate. Serious blessing. God gave you longevity. Just look at the number of people that you and I played with. Lord, and Roy, and Herbert May, and all of those guys. All those guys, man, are gone to glory. And you and I are still here for a purpose. So I want you to count the blessing of longevity as one of the most outstanding blessings that God bestowed upon you. And finally, I want you to understand, Butch, that I love you, trust you, and respect you very much. And I want you to keep the faith. Keep the faith. I love you, my brother, and I will see you later.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, and let me stand. I am tired. I'm weak, and I'm worn through the storms. Ooh, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me on. in my highway. Rose dream, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry. Hear me when I call, yeah. Hold my hand. If you don't hold me, I got to fall. Take my hand. Precious Lord, and lead me on. Mother is gone. My father is gone. They left me here. I got to carry on. But I get tired